Hello, my dear students. AfroKanza here once again on the channel where I talk about kuduro and Afro house African dance, history, moves, names of moves, everything you need to know if you're getting started in African dance and you want to start teaching other people, or maybe you just want to learn some foundation names of moves and much more. So this is meant to be like a podcast video, so you can stick around. It's not gonna be too long because it's just gonna go straight into the topic. So what we're talking about today is how can you make your choreography better and how can you gain more engagement with your students if you're teaching workshop, if you're traveling, or how can you teach other people African dance in a way that is going to be extremely comfortable if you encounter yourself teaching more than 50 people. Okay, so I did a lot of workshops around my like for a really long time in my career, and before I built this channel, I made sure that I went through everything that I needed to build this channel. So for a long time, I've been working on teaching and also expanding the knowledge of African dance and the differences, especially in Kuduro and Afro house, telling the history, background, and everything. And I taught many workshops around the world. So one of the things that I also built is a lot of, how can I say, students in the platform, like teaching through Skype and Zoom. I had many students for a really long time, and I've learned a lot of things about them and also about the people that are in the industry right now teaching Kuduro and Afro house. I could name some professionals that you already know that teach Kuduro and Afro house in Europe, Portugal, Sweden, and also in the US. So for my brothers and sisters from Angola, from Africa, that want to travel outside of Africa to teach, I'm gonna give you some advices that you should take when you're gonna teach other people outside of Africa. So what happens is when most of my friends, professional dancers in Africa, travel to teach other people outside of Africa, is they forget that dance over there is not the same as how we view dance here at home in Africa. The thing is that we learn the moves by just watching, going to parties. You won't really see many Africans going to dance academy to learn how to dance like pantola, mapiano, kuduro Afro house, Afro beats, or any style like that. You will only find people going to traditional dance, yes, to go learn the history, names, and everything. That could be maybe an organized a desk company that they will get people to be part of an event where they would teach people those moves, because it's just the generation right now, they just don't want to get into traditional dancing. They want to learn the trendy moves like everyone is doing on social media. So that is one of the, how can I say, should I say downfalls, or maybe that is the thing that some of my friends are lacking. So when you are going to start teaching other people, it's nice for you to go back into your roots. First, learn those roots again, revise them before you travel. Second thing is learn the moves, the names of moves in your country, the moves that you do. Do a rough research, know the names of people that came up with the moves, and also learn when it was invented. Also, if you could talk to them and tell them what was their mindset when they started creating. Even if you're from the country, even if you is from your country, the dance that you're going to teach in Europe or United States, just make sure that you do your research enough before you go teach people. Because when you travel there, you're going to be extremely excited because people are going to give you a lot of, how can I say, respect, and they will be expecting a lot from you, and they will ask you questions, and if you don't know how to answer them, you can't even tell the names of the moves that you're teaching. And they've probably saw other people referring the moves, and you can't even respond to that. Then you're gonna start losing that credibility. People are gonna start looking at you like, okay, this might be someone who's a good dancer but not a good teacher. And then if you're gonna start teaching, please learn how to count, learn how to do the counting, because they depend a lot on the counting. If you do poo poo ka ka wa wa, that's that can work in terms of rhythm, but in terms of counting, they are very dependent on counting. Guys, I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. Counting is good. It can help you know what exactly you need to do, but that's a habit that came from school. Most people living outside of Africa, they usually go to school at a very young age. They go to ballet school, they go to contemporary school or hip hop classes, and when you teach kids, you need to use count so that they can use that as a way of growing their knowledge with maths and everything. And that became a huge habit. As they grow up, they are used to hearing counts: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then again 1 2. So don't count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. If you're teaching dance, don't count like that. That's a huge mistake. And I'm saying this is because in a good way, I'm giving advice. I actually stopped traveling. I don't feel like traveling teaching anymore. I'm very invested in this channel. I'm very invested in my channel, teaching people how to dance, teaching showing the documentaries, talk about the culture and everything. I've traveled for many years and I didn't get tired. It's just that I think I came to a point where um, I just don't see why I should travel to teach anymore. I think that's just the feeling. Um, I really built a large students in the social media world, and the way that I communicate with you guys, it's very comfortable, and I feel that I'm close to my family here, and traveling wasn't easy when I started traveling. So I don't want to go through that because I used to stay for 6 months, 3 months away from my family, and I don't want to go through that. I rather just stay in Africa and just keep teaching like this online. So this is why I'm giving advice for my friends that are starting to travel, and I see most of them are traveling. They're very excited, but when I watch their videos, I see a lot of mistakes. And if I don't say something to them, their work can go down really quickly, and they are really good. It's just that because of not knowing these small details, they might not get the opportunity to go back or be booked. I was very lucky to receive a lot of booking, not only in the dance community, but also in the, how can I say, commercial TV and movies. I was very lucky to get into that because I took classes, I studied, I took dance education very early. So I was very lucky because I was extremely dedicated to my dance. And when I started, I wasn't really going for the money. I was just going for, like, I really love this. I want to do this, and I wanted to meet Michael Jackson. And I did everything around that, getting motivated to actually go one day and meet him there. That didn't happen. So, but because I was so motivated, I started to learn a lot about dance and I started to actually do research. So, this is one of the things also I want to say. Most of my brothers and sisters here in Africa, they don't study, they don't do research, they just want to travel and teach. And that's it. If you're traveling to US, it's good enough for you to know how many teachers of Afro House or Kuduro are there in the US. Now, people might say, Manuel did not really travel much to Europe. No, I did not travel too much to Europe. I did, but not as much as I did in the US, because in Europe there are already many good teachers that I can say good, yes, in Europe teaching Kuduro and Afro House. Not all of them, but some. And in the US, there weren't really much, I would say, even just extremely less Kuduru and Afro House teachers. So that was a field where I felt, wow, this is very virgin field. I can explore and teach people here so we can build. And that's what I did since 2012 until 2019. That was a long time. I started doing the traveling there and teaching. So that's why most of my videos that I share in my social media is mostly videos me teaching in United States. And when I went there the first times, I used to do these mistakes that I'm sharing right now. This is why I'm not ashamed like to teach you guys and call you guys out and say, hey, my brothers and sisters, you're traveling. Please do research before you travel, learn how to count, and be patient with your students. Don't put the music and you're saying, follow me, or you're just teaching and you are overexcited. You are forgetting to look at your students. You're just worried about you looking good. You already know how to dance. So you can forget about that. Like just focus on your students because when they watch their video, yes, they want to watch you teaching other people. They want to feel like if other people in your video were able to do so, I think I can do it. And they'll come to your class rather than you would just film yourself doing the whole dance, just showcasing your dance. That's good, but you're forgetting the teaching part because they want to learn that move. How many of you have seen a dance move of your favorite dancer, but you end up learning that move from another person? I know many hands are raised up right now because that's exactly what happens when we're extremely excited. We're a really good dancer, but not really good teacher. So if we can just calm down and look at this aspect, then we can realize, wow, um, if I'm a good dancer and my focus is to be a choreographer and teach, then this is what I must do. I must teach them how to do this and take my time, teach them really well, and make sure that I'm not teaching too many things in one class. Just make sure that people really learn it. Because when the moves are new, everyone wants to learn, but not everyone will get it like really quickly. Because the way we dance here in Africa is we don't use counts like other people do. Sometimes the moves can skip counts. It could be contratempo, it could be on tempo. So it is important to let people know that not most of our moves here in Africa don't actually have the like even numbers like 2, 4. Then we have moves like 8. No, it's usually sometimes 3, 5, 7. That's why it's difficult for most Africans to count to 8 when they're teaching. So it's important for us to know the end, one end, two end, and then all these things can help you like balance all these counts when you're teaching people. So you might not be the best dancer, but if you're the best teacher, then people obviously come you and they will support your art. And I think the best teacher can be a good dancer also. Uh, but the extremely well performer sometimes is not really a good teacher because he's really good at doing what he does, but he can't really express that in a way that other people can understand what he's doing. Because there are many dancers here in Angola that if you ask them like, how did you come up with this move? Like, what's the name of this move? What is the mindset behind? They can't even explain it. They can't explain how they came up with it, like what was going on in their mind, like how they did. And I know this happens to most African brothers and sisters that are really, really good at dancing, but they just can't really explain what they're doing. That's just because of lack of really conscience of what you're doing. If most of us, we do things like it's really raw to us, it's very natural to us, so we don't really stop to think, oh, this move really started from the shoulder. I think I was inspired by the moves that I saw. Instead of moving two shoulders, just decided to move one shoulder, and then I created a move that just shoulder pushes me to the back, and then I gave it the name of back shoulder. They could say maybe in our dialect or maybe in the language that we speak, giving the name based on that what we're doing. So if most of them can have the consciousness, like to understand what they're doing, I think also it's gonna affect the way people create moves because most of these things, when you start gaining control of it, it kind of loses that authenticity, the authenticity. Oh my God, guys, forgive me. Authenticity. Yeah, it won't be authentic enough if you try to control everything that you do. sometimes letting it just happen natural is good, but over time you need to study it so that it is more natural, and then you can teach other people. And also, I want to say that not all good dancers in Africa that we see created the moves that they always doing. Most of the time, they learn from their friends, and they are very good at doing it better than the person that invented. So it becomes like a signature for him, and it looks like that person invented. It's not like that. Most of the time, they just learn. They are very good, and they just learn, and they're very good at executing. It looks beautiful on them rather than the person that created it. It's usually like that, even for choreographers. Even me, most of my students look much better doing my moves than I do myself. It's because the way I envision it, for me to do it with my body is never gonna come out the way I think. It's always gonna come out some kind of way. But when I see people doing the move and I'm teaching them, I picture the person inside my head on their body, and I can move that structure and make my students move the way I picture in my head. That's why they look much better than me, because I don't look at myself, I look at my students when I teach them the move and my choreographies. So most of my students really look really good doing my dance rather than me doing myself. That's the reason. And I think this happens to most professionals and also non-professionals, people that are just very creative. They usually do their best to make sure that students are really doing the way he thought about it. So that's one thing I wanted to say. What else I wanted to say before we close? Oh, when you travel, make sure that when you teach classes, if you're gonna do videos with your students, don't only just pick the best ones. Make sure that you pick them in groups, like split them in 3 groups or 4 groups and do with all of them. Because I think when you teach a class, people sometimes they're not just coming to do your class. Maybe they love you, maybe they like you, and they wanna do a video also to be around you. Those full out videos that go viral, they wanna be there and say, hey, look, I'm there. Even if they're messing up, just being there is good. I see many of us get extremely excited. We forget to pay attention to these details. So just make sure that you give a lot of attention to your students when you travel outside of Africa. Now, when you're here home, we are very like, yeah, okay. We were very simple. If I didn't get really recorded and we are used, this is our culture. We don't really care if we're gonna get picked or not. Yeah, it's not to say that other people, but it's just that it's new to them than it is for us. So we're just like, okay, it's okay. But other people, they want to get close to that. They want to learn that. They want to dance with you. And just make sure that you pay attention to that. And I'll say the same to people that are outside learning these dances. Just make sure when you're learning these dances, ask your teachers, what is the name of this? What you call this move? How is it done? What's the accent? So teach your teachers how to teach you. Like ask them questions. Say you're going too fast. Let them know. Don't be shy. You're going too fast, because once you do that, if that teacher is patient, is good, they will have patience to respond to you and repeat. Because other 4 people there in the corner, they might have the same question, but they are shy to say something because they don't want to feel like everyone is going to look at them like, we're doing it, you're too slow to get. No, they don't want to get that feeling like I'm too a beginner, because people are very shy to speak with their body. So if they mess up, they are scared that the teacher is going to put them in a spotlight and say, you do like this, do like that, and everyone's going to find out that that person doesn't know how to dance. People are usually shy. So just make sure that don't be shy, ask questions so you can be better. If you don't ask questions, you will not be better. All right. So, okay, guys, I'll see you on the next one. My name is AfroKanza, all the way from Angola, and I'll make more videos like this. Just stick around. There's a playlist here on the channel. Join the channel, subscribe, share this video with other people that need. I know most people will need to listen at least a portion of it. I didn't go into deep in this. Maybe in the part 2 or part 3, or maybe in the next videos, I might talk about it again and say some of the things that I didn't talk about. Or you guys can just ask me questions down below so I can make videos about it. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.